expect to see any violence here today.
I certainly hope so.
What's up, my friends? It is I, Bloody Bill Vox, coming at you with a special video here today. I shared recently on social media that I might start doing some reviews and some reactions, and well, I've been inspired to do my very first reaction video. So today, we're going to talk about Becoming Immortal, the Bray Wyatt documentary that just dropped on Peacock. And man, oh man, was I ready, but not ready for this one. The documentary kicks off telling the early story of Wyndham Rotunda growing up in Florida. Being a football player, being the son of Mike Rotunda, the nephew of Barry Windham. Told us the story about Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham's sister, getting into a relationship and how they became married and remain married to this day, 40 years later. Told the early stories of Bo Dallas getting into the WWE and then Bray following as well. I want to caution up front that because I'm putting this out very soon after the documentary is dropped, I don't want to give away too much. Like, I want people to experience this documentary the same way that I did. So I'm just kind of sharing my reactions. I'll try to avoid spoiling as much as I can. But if there's going to be a spoiler moment of some kind, I'll put up a little screen to tell you, spoiler warning, skip ahead. I'll do you that solid. So, there may be some spoilers, but I'll give you a solid. I did just fine in this documentary, until we got to the part about talking about Bray Wyatt's passing. I will say that about 2 minutes in, Taylor Rotunda, aka Bo Dallas, aka Uncle Howdy, he's on screen. You can almost feel his voice starting to break a little bit, and I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be rough. And then, as we continue through the documentary, exploring the history of the Firefly character and eventually the Fiend Firefly Funhouse era, and then the return, everything's going great. Like, I'm enjoying this walk back through the history of Bray Wyatt. It was funny to look back and say that within 2 years of his debut, and if you want to even expand it to 3, within 3 years of his debut on the WWE main roster, he's worked with John Cena, The Undertaker, and The Rock. Granted, The Rock was in a promo at WrestleMania 32, but I thought it was a real fun journey to kind of go back and see that and be like, wow. His first WrestleMania was against John Cena. His second WrestleMania was against The Undertaker. His third WrestleMania, granted, not in a match, but he's in a segment with The Rock. I mean, if we continue it even further, WrestleMania 33, he's in a match with Randy Orton. We could talk about the results of those matches all day long, and whether who should have won what, where, when, and why. That's not, I think, what we're here to do today. The part that finally broke me was Taylor, Bo Dallas, sharing the news of how he found out that Wyndham, aka Bray Wyatt, was gone. And then from then on out, it was just punch me, punch me, punch me, punch me, punch me all day long. My eyes were swollen when this thing was done. And that's nothing compared to what the folks in this film have felt. I think my biggest takeaway from watching this documentary is just how wildly creative Bray Wyatt was, how much of a connection he had with not only his friends and his family, but the audience that he worked to entertain so tirelessly. Like, knew it was something that he did throughout his career in WWE. But this documentary really shined a light on how into all of his character work he really was from the start with Bray Wyatt, the Waylon Mercy inspirations, the Cape Fear inspirations, the promos, bringing in Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, and eventually Braun Strowman. Oh my God, did Braun Strowman get me in this one? Holy moly! It's always the biggest ones, the big boys when they shed those tears, it gets you, and he got me too. I mean, everybody got me. Bo got me, Micah got me, JoJo got me. I mean, they all got me. Once we hit the era of the documentary where he's no longer here, physically no longer here, um, that's when it became a really tough watch. I mean, we're all built differently. It might be a tough watch for somebody right out of the gate, but for me personally, it was once we got to that era. But as I was saying, it was just it was fun to uh, uh, watch through the different eras of the various characters and see how into all the creativity he was. Just that massive character work. I mean, he lived it, he breathed it, and it shined through. And I think this documentary did amazing justice uh, to the visions that he had and sharing with us, and a lot of that unseen and unheard video and audio that is included in this documentary. Um, just amazingly done. I could sit here and dissect it moment for moment for moment. But again, I really highly encourage people to go out on Peacock. Um, I'm not sure how it is internationally, but at least in the United States, it's on Peacock. I encourage everybody to go watch it. It's a little over 2 hours, and it's a 2 hours you're not going to regret spending in front of your television, watching one of the greatest minds that has ever come along in professional wrestling. I think I'll close this reaction piece by just sharing my personal feelings on Bray Wyatt as a fan. Bray Wyatt was the something different in the world of professional wrestling. He was the something different, and I think that resonated with everybody because a lot of people in life are the something different. They're, whether it's a personality quirk or a character quirk or just whatever. The Bray Wyatt character almost encouraged you to live your inner weird, be who you wanted to be. There was just something about that character that resonated with me. Even watching this, they talk about his struggles with the original name Husky Harris, and I used to be a husky kid myself, and always kind of felt outcasted in school and high school and all that stuff. In some cases, because I loved professional wrestling, and everybody like, oh, that's so fake, that's so lame, and I loved professional wrestling. Everything about my existence was professional wrestling, and so something about that character when I first saw it in NXT on Hulu. I was watching NXT on Hulu before the WWE network was a thing. They used to post the episodes on Hulu. That was my first exposure to the character, and it was out there, man. And I saw those Waylon Mercy inspirations, and it was something special. It's one of those characters that comes along that can never be replicated. There'll never be another Bray Wyatt. Just they talk about his affinity for the Undertaker, and the Undertaker narrates this documentary. And similar to how there will never be another Undertaker, there will never be another Bray Wyatt. You could never duplicate what he has done. I will say, and here's your first spoiler screen. The teaser at the very end of this documentary has me very, very, very excited for what may be to come, because if there's anybody that can carry on the legacy, it's Bray's family. Notably, the last member of the family to be working with him on television, Taylor Rotunda, aka Bo Dallas, aka Uncle Howdy. You watch through the end credits. I'm glad I put up a spoiler because this is a big spoiler. Watch through to the end credits, just like in a movie. Everybody says, oh, should I stick around for the end credits, watch all the way through to the end? Yes, for two reasons. For one, we get to see The Undertaker talk a little bit on camera. A lot of the time, he's just, not a lot of the time, the entire time, he's just narrating everything and, doesn't appear on camera, but he appears on camera at the end, does a Jack Daniels toast with a second glass, which, it was real nice symbolic toast to Bray. But then as the credits come to an end, it's very much a Firefly Funhouse type of teaser, breaking into the credits. And we get to see the lantern turn back on. And what looks like Uncle Howdy popping behind. Wow. That's got me excited. I can't lie. All right, my friends. That's where I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I didn't want to ramble for too long. In fact, I joked with somebody in my house. I said, "That's not going to be rambling for 40 minutes." No. It's not going to be me for rambling for 40 minutes. But I do want to close this video by simply stating to the general public, if you're watching this and you, for some reason, on the fence about watching this documentary, get off the fence and go watch the documentary. It's beautifully done. I hate that it had to be done in the spirit that it was done, because it's done because he passed away. I think if he was still with us, a documentary of this type would have been done long after his career was over. But removing the circumstances of why it was made, it was beautifully done. It was so well put together. Everybody involved, just amazing. It was beautifully done. And then just a personal message to a bunch of people that don't know who I am and probably will never see this or hear this, but I still want to put it out there. I want to thank the Rotunda family, the friends, the brothers, the sisters, the mothers, the fathers, everybody, his kids, everybody. I want to thank all of you for coming on camera and sharing your joys and your sorrows. I wrote that on X. I said, thank you for sharing your joys and your sorrows. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, as a wrestling fan of over 30 years and somebody that loved the work of Bray Wyatt and cried my eyes out the day that I heard that he passed away, and cried my eyes out some more when I watched this documentary. I want to thank you all for sitting down and sharing all of that with us, because it couldn't have been easy. It could not have been easy. And, like I said, I know that you probably will never see this, but putting it out in the universe at the very least, because after watching the Bray documentary, maybe I'm alone in this, but I swear I could feel the man's spirit just kind of dancing in the air, because he knows we're all talking about him. And so in the spirit of feeling the spirits in the air, I put out the spirit of gratitude to the Rotunda family, friends, family, everybody. Thank you all for doing what you did and sitting down. It couldn't have been easy. And I thank you for doing so. Becoming Immortal, the Bray Wyatt documentary. It's available now on Peacock. It's a little over 2 hours. Make some time to watch it. You will not regret it. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'll see you next time.